Deanna from Whips and Chains Crochet, and this is episode number 2. I have a couple of whips for you, finished objects, and that's really about it. I was waiting on an order from Lion Brand that was supposed to be here on Friday, and on Thursday night they sent me a message, oh, arriving on time, and it's still not here yet. So it's not a lot, it's only a couple skeins of yarn, but I will show that on the next video if it ever gets here. But let's start with our finished object. So actually what I'm wearing is a finished object. It took me like 3 days to make this. I'll go into more detail about that one next. But let it look at my shawl. I still have to block it and weave in the two ends, but it is pretty much finished. It is huge. I don't even think I can fit it all in the frame. Let's see, from side to side. And then top to bottom. I love the color changes. I did decide to do a little bit of a lacy edge on the bottom, just to make it a little more feminine, just because it is so big. I absolutely love it, and I don't know if you watched my last video, but in the last video I was saying that this yarn wasn't super soft, and it's not the softest that I've ever felt before, but it's actually softer than what I was originally thinking, and then especially as I was getting down to the darker colors, which is odd because normally when I have yarn that's the same brand but darker colors seem to always be maybe a little stiffer. I don't know if it's something with the dyeing process, but this one was the opposite. So I can actually wear this if I find my end wrapped around and then bring it up and kind of like bunch it up like this and be nice and snugly warm like this. And honestly, this is something that I would wear if I not under a jacket because it is so big and bulky, but like one of those days where it's not super cold out where you need a jacket but you want something to keep you a little bit warm. This will definitely do it. It is a yarn art. I showed the label on the last video and unfortunately I don't think I have it anymore. It's a yarn art. It's alpaca. It's got like a very small amount of alpaca in it, so it does have some like fuzz on it. But yeah, it is, I love it. I love it. And I still have to block it, so it may even grow a little more. But you can wear it like that. If you're crocheting at night and you're a little chilly, you can just throw it over your shoulders. And because the is so big, it is going to stay pretty nicely on your shoulders without having to worry about it constantly slipping off. But yeah, that's and I did link the pattern. I'm getting all tangled up here. I did link the pattern in my last video in the description box, so if you are interested, it is a free pattern and there is a link to it in the description box. It is a super easy to memorize pattern. I went into more detail about it in my last video, so yeah, and hopefully the colors are coming up fairly accurate to what they are in real life, because it's absolutely beautiful in real life. Excuse me, I need to take a drink. Okay, so this sweater, oh my god, I absolutely love it. So as I was finishing up my shawl, I was watching a couple of YouTube videos and trying to find like new ones, people I haven't really watched, and I came across Craft in A Cuppa, and I'll link her YouTube channel down below as well as the link to this particular sweater. I did modify it a little bit differently than how she did it, but I absolutely love the way it came out. I'm not going to stand up because I'm going to be too much close up in frame and you won't be able to see it, but I'll insert a picture either here or at the end of the video or at the beginning of the video, something to show like the full sweater. I really love it. It's a granny square pattern, and I ended up doing like 2 rows of the black and then 1 row of the color, and I had a bunch of these pink colors left over from something I made for my granddaughter, so I thought why not. And the sleeves are all granny, but I did do decreases so that it wouldn't be super baggy all the way down. And then I just did a little single crochet around the cuff. And what I like with the grannies, because they have the holes, you can always wear it kind of like hand warmers. Yeah, so I absolutely love it. I think I probably should have gone up a a hook size. I used my Odyssey hook in the size J, and this yarn is a little bit thicker, so it's kind of stiff, but I haven't washed it yet, so hopefully it'll end up loosening up a little bit after I wash it. Because it's 100% acrylic, I can wash and dry it if I like, but I typically don't dry any of my handmade items other than blankets. I don't edit my videos, so if I say something wrong, that's just it. But I used, the black is Lion Brand, 1 pound, Pound of Love, and that is the label for that. And the color is just black. They are, let me get the info. They classify it as a medium 4-weight, 100% premium acrylic, machine washable and dryable, made in Egypt. And there is 16 ounces, 454 grams, 1,020 yards, 932 meters. And they do recommend a J hook, a 6 millimeter, or a size 8 5 millimeter knitting needles. And it did, I mean, honestly, it's like it's a nice, the stitch definition, everything is great with this needle size. For me, I think I like my sweaters to be a little bit more drapey, I guess, but I love the pattern. Like I said, it took me, I think, literally 3 days to complete the whole thing. Try to lift it up a little. It's just a granny square, and again, I did 2 rows of black and then 1 row of color, 2 rows of black, and then alternated the colors. Under the arm, this is where I modified. So when she shows you the pattern, she gives you, she goes by measurements, and she says if you're like this size, you know, make your initial square this wide, and then if it's like 2x through 5x, she has you add on just single rows on the side so that you're not adding length, you're just adding the width. But I didn't want to go too wide because, as you can see, it already comes off the shoulder, and had I gone much wider, it would have been really super baggy up in the top part, and that's a problem that I find with a lot of the boxier sweaters, or sweaters that, because I have wider hips, I need it at the bottom, but I don't need it at the top. And when they're straight boxy like that, it's kind of hard to get it to fit right here and at the bottom. So what I did, let's see if I can come a little closer. I measured off. So what I did, I'm sorry, should start at the beginning. I joined at the shoulders, and you can't really see it, but it is the zigzag stitch. And then I measured off for my sleeve opening to my underarm. And then on each side, I did 1 row of extra granny in just a straight line. And then I joined with my zigzag. So it added a little bit of width under the arms. I didn't go as deep with the armhole opening because I knew that would add a lot right there, you know, for ease in the sweater and under the arms. Yeah, I absolutely love it. This is something more that I would just wear around the house or to go to a grocery store, not necessarily something that I'd be like, oh, I'm going out to dinner, let me grab this sweater. Not that it's not nice enough. I just, for me, because of the weight of it, it's a little bit bulky. I think I would prefer it in either a DK weight or going up a needle size to make it a little more drapey. And I'll kind of show you, I have some squares that I started to maybe do another one, and then I have some colors picked out to maybe do another one. But let me go through the colors. This hot pink color, these are all the pinks are Big Twist Value yarn, and that is from Joann's. That's the label. They are 100% acrylic, made in Turkey. This color is called magenta, which to me, I don't know, it looks more like hot pink. They are recommending it is classified as a 4-weight. They are recommending a US H 5 millimeter. I would say that would be kind of a tight stitch because this is a thicker, it's a nice 4-weight. And then US 8 5mm knitting needles, machine washable, low iron, do not bleach, do not tumble dry, dry clean, dry flat. And then it just says to suggestion, please purchase a sufficient quantity of one dye lot to ensure uniformity in the color of your completed project. There is 380 yards, 6 ounces, 347 meters, 170 grams. Yeah, I actually like this yarn a lot. I made a blanket for my daughter for Christmas, and speaking of blankets, I'm knocking this one down. This is just one that I made for my granddaughter. That is one of the Lion Brand mandalas. But yeah, it's I can show you actually, because I still have a lot of this color. And I don't know, in the picture that I took, where is the end? The color of this one is turning out, I think it's, yeah, it's turning out more like a orangey color or salmony color, but it's actually a pink, and it is called Watermelon. But yeah, that is the 4-weight. Get over here. That is the 4-weight, and it's a nice 4-weight. It kind of matches the Lion Brand Pound of Love, which I actually like too. It's both of them, for being value yarns, are extremely soft. I think I got the Big Twist on sale for like $2.50 a skein a couple of months ago. The Lion Brand Pound of Loves, they had an awesome sale. Again, probably several months ago, because I've had them for a while. So I stocked up on like black and like off-white, a gray, red, like basic colors. I wish I would have gotten more. I got one called Straw that I absolutely don't like. Maybe one day I'll show it. Online it looked more yellowish, and it looked pretty, and I don't, you know, not in person. So that is the this one is Light Rose. And then that is this one here. And then this one, which is this color here. And you know, it's funny because here, when I'm looking on here, this color looks very similar to this, but they are quite different. This one, which is the darker color, which is right here. And I think this is showing more true to color. This one is called Plum. So yeah, for just having some yarn that I had laying around to have a nice new sweater that is kind of fun. And I'm traditionally more I like more neutral tones and earth tones. So for me, this was kind of like a fun pop of color. And then with Valentine's Day coming, I thought it was kind of perfect. It matches. So taking the same concept, kind of, I was thinking maybe a cardigan. I love cardigans. I like to wear layers because, you know, if you get hot, you can take it off. If you're cold, you can throw it on. So I have some of the Big Twist in this pale yellow, and I don't even know why. I'm not really a yellow person. But it is called, where is the name? It's actually called Pale Yellow. So I had 2 balls of this, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? Because I'm not really a yellow person. I don't know if I bought it for something to make for my grandson before he was born. I did make him a hexagon blanket that had yellow in it, but it wasn't this brand. It was another brand that I used. It was similar color, part of them. It had blues and yellows in it, but I really don't know why I bought 2 skeins of this, but I have it. And then I have this, this is from Hirschner's, and it's called Soho Playful. And those are the beautiful colors. I think they're a little bit, I don't know, they might be a little blown out compared to real life. Maybe back here. That might be more true to life. They're absolutely beautiful, and they have the, it's not really, I don't know if that's considered a chain spun. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but it has like the blown fibers inside of it. It's soft, but it's not like super soft. but it is soft to the touch. It wouldn't bother me on my neck. And this is 65% cotton, 35% acrylic, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 218 yards, 200 meters, machine wash and dry, made in China, distributed by Hirschner's. It's classified as a 4-weight, but it is, it's a very light and airy 4-weight because it is the blown fibers. They recommend a US 9 5.5 millimeter knitting needles and an I size 9 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is called Iced Out, and these are relatively inexpensive on their site, but they also have like where you can order a bag of 10 balls, which is what I did. So I have like 10 balls of this. I initially started making like a sweater out of it, and it does have the stripe pattern and it looks really pretty, but I just wasn't loving it. So that's probably gonna get frogged. That's one of my many whips. So what do? Start another one. So I started making some squares, and I was thinking maybe put them together to make a cardigan for summer. I'm not sure yet if it's gonna be like a vest or short sleeves or long sleeves, but I went with a 7 millimeter hook, and this is one of the ones that I got from Amazon that I talked about in my last video. It reminds me kind of the Furls resin, but they are much less expensive. Before I tried the Furls, I decided to buy one of these. Well, I actually have 2 of them now in different sizes, because I wanted to see how it fit in my hand and the difference in the weight compared to my metal ones with the ergonomic thing on there. And I absolutely love them. It doesn't catch the yarn, it doesn't squeak. At least not with this yarn, and not with most acrylics. Possibly with cotton it might, but yeah, I really like them. It's got the nice, I don't know if you can see because it's white, but probably, maybe that's better. It's got like the pointy head on it, and then it's got the, I think that's called the inline, so it catches the yarn really nicely. So I'm using that, and you know, even though it's much bigger than the recommended size, sorry, I'm looking that way, I wanted it to make like a nice drapey fabric, which it has. So far, this is the squares that I came up with. So I'm thinking of putting them, I still have to weave in all the ends. I still have to put them together, and I only have five right now. And the colors are coming up kind of similar, so like I got a couple of squares so far, you know, that look the same, and then this one was slightly different. So I'll have to make up a bunch of squares and then lay them out and see how I like them. But I do like that it made, even this yarn is definitely thinner and more open than the Big Twist Value. But it did make this yarn much more drapey than when I used the J hook for this sweater. So I'm thinking even if I join, which I probably will join with all of the yellow, it's not going to be quite as stiff as this one is, which again, I absolutely love this. Great for around the house, but it does seem to come up a little bit over here, and I think that's just because it's so stiff because of the size hook that I used. But again, I'm gonna wash it and see, maybe I'll stretch a little bit to block it and see if it'll help loosen that up a little bit. So I was thinking, you know, when you finish one project, as you do, you start 2 or 3, 4 more. I have a bunch of, well, this is the Pound of Love in the antique white color, so it's not like a white, it's slightly darker, but it's not quite a cream either, so it's actually very pretty. So I have a couple of balls of these. This one I just used a little bit for something else, and then I have a bunch of Caron Simply Soft, which I'm not exactly sure why. I used to love this yarn, but there are so many others that I like more now. This was kind of a staple back when they didn't have such a huge selection of different brands. But I have four colors here that I'm thinking for spring. And I don't know. I'm usually not into these, like, I love bright colors. I love colors of all kinds. I like to paint, I like to draw, and color is just, I love it. But when as far as like clothing and stuff, my colors tend to be more blacks and neutral colors and earthy colors. But I'm like, maybe we should step out of our comfort zone. So this one is pink, and it is called Soft Pink from Karen Simply Soft. It's extremely shiny in my lights. So there's that one, and then this one is called Orchid, and purples and pinks are like my favorite colors. But yet when it comes to clothing and decorating, I tend to go more for the fall colors. So I can't explain it. It's just me. And then this one is called Blackberry. It's a very pretty color. Again, I think it's probably more accurate back here. And then this is just a gray, and it's called Feathered Gray. Again, nice and shiny, soft. Their yarn is soft. I do like that. So yeah, those are kind of my plans. And I do have one more whip that I started after I finished my shawl and before I started this sweater. I thought, well, I want a cardigan that can go for like either spring or fall when it's not quite warm enough to wear something heavy, but a little chilly to go without anything. And I have all of this, oh, and I didn't bring the ball band. It's Rowan Felted Tweed, and it is a DK weight. And as you can see, it is a brown, but it has all these beautiful, beautiful flecks of color in it. And it is more of a rustic wool. It is wool. It's a wool and mohair blend. I wish I had brought one of the ball bands so I can give you all of the specs on it, but maybe in the next episode. But I don't mind rustic wools. I actually like them a lot. I don't mind hand washing my items. I typically do it anyway, like I said, other than maybe like blankets, because who's going to hand wash a blanket? That'd be a lot of work. But I found this. This is also a free pattern online, and I'm trying to see if I can find the front and the back, but I can't really I don't know. But it is a yoked style cardigan pattern that you knit back and forth, and I'll try to hold it up like this. So this is the top part of the yoke, so this would like sit on your shoulders, and basically you go back and forth. You did some increases at the beginning, and now it's just straight back and forth until it gets down to where you can separate for the sleeves depending on your size. And it is this, I really wish I could figure out which is the front and the back, but it's like this nice lacy pattern that kind of like, oh, what do they call it? Chevrons a little bit. So once you get where you join under the arms and you keep going, like the bottom of the cardigan is going to have that nice little dip up and down, and then the sleeves will also match that. And as you can see, it's got, you know, pretty decent sized holes in it. And so it'll be, the wool and mohair will make it warm, but the airiness and the drape of it will make it nice and, you know, like I said, for in between weather where it's not super hot and it's not super cold, but you need a little something. I think it's going to be pretty. Maybe not the best color for spring, but definitely for fall. But, you know, if you wore like a lighter colored top underneath this, I would do it for spring. I don't necessarily follow the, oh, you can't wear white after Labor Day and all that stuff. Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day. So that is all of my whips and all of my finished objects for now. Hopefully next week I'll have a little more. I am on vacation this week, so I will have some time to just sit around and do a bunch of crocheting, maybe a little knitting. And I still want to show the one blanket I was talking about that I have that I can't decide if I want to frog and restart it into something else, because I absolutely love the color of the yarn. I like the yarn itself for the blanket. When I initially bought it, I purchased it to make a cardigan, and then I thought, oh, this would be a pretty colored blanket. And I do have quite a bit of it. So the pattern that I was initially using has a lot of cabling, and then it has some like bobbles and things, and it's very, very pretty. I just don't know if it's very me. Might be a little bit too much for me, but maybe I'll show that on the next episode. And that's it for now. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.